Let me ask you something. Is this the way that you meal prep? Because this is exactly what I used to do. I would spend about 5 hours in the kitchen on Sundays, portioning out every single meal that I was going to eat in the week. Because I thought that's what it took to reach my fitness goals and stay lean, and I even taught that to my clients as well back then. The truth is, I was doing meal prepping wrong. Or at least I wasn't prepping in the most efficient or effective way to make the most of my time, particularly now as a parent. And I know that many people out there are also making the same mistakes that I did. Luckily, I discovered a much better way to meal prep that saves me hours every single week, which is pretty important because now, as I mentioned, I'm a dad and I don't have the kind of time in the kitchen that I used to. So now I want to teach this meal prepping method to all of the parents, particularly dads like me out there, so they can eat to drop fat, build muscle, and fuel their busy lives without wasting their precious time. If you want to learn how you can cook food for the week in under an hour on the weekend, I'm going to show you that one meal prep hack that changed everything for me. So make sure you keep watching. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andres and I'm a registered dietitian who specializes in helping busy parents, particularly dads, take care of their health, build a strong, fit body that they want while eating foods that they actually like. I'm also a dad myself, and I'm an entrepreneur. So like you, I have a lot on my plate and I know how easy it is for nutrition to get pushed to the back burner when you have so many other things going on in your life. As I just mentioned, today I'm going to be sharing a meal prepping hack that it's going to be a complete game changer for helping you save time. And then I'm going to explain exactly how to use this hack to prep high protein dinners for an entire week. I'm also going to teach you a bit of technology and AI to help you in that process. But first, before I get into this little trick I use every single week, I want to talk about 3 common meal prep mistakes or misconceptions that keep most people from staying consistent with their nutrition and ultimately hold them back from reaching their goals. So here's misconception number 1. Most people avoid meal prep because they think it takes too much time. They have this idea in their head that they have to prep every single thing in a Tupperware container that they can grab out of the fridge, put it in the microwave, and eat it 3 times a day for an entire week. And that process of making all those separate containers is extremely time consuming and also pretty boring, but I will get to that in a second. I know that because I used to do it every week and I didn't enjoy the prep process at all. I even did it for other people. They paid me money for it, but I hated every minute of it. Plus, when you count the time it takes you to prepare your meals during the week or even going to a place to get food or order food and you add it all up, I'm pretty sure it's gonna take you longer than 2 hours. I promise. I have counted it. Here's the second misconception, which I hinted just now, which is that many people think that meal prep means chicken, rice, and broccoli in stacks of Tupperware containers. In other words, extremely boring. So they avoid meal prepping because it feels restrictive and causes them to hate their diet. And the third common mistake that keeps people from meal prepping consistently is that they don't have a simple, repeatable system that they can use every single week, so meal prep feels overwhelming and pretty stressful. Luckily, I'm going to show you my simple way of solving a lot of these problems with my meal prepping system that I repeat every week that I teach our clients, and it does not involve prepping all your meals in little bitty containers or eating the same boring stuff every single week. In fact, you probably feel like you're having a lot more variety than ever. So what is this game-changing meal prep trick? It's taking 1, sometimes 2 protein sources and starting from there and turning them into multiple meals. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it with a bunch of examples and a little over 30 different high protein meal ideas that you can add to your next plan. So you may want to grab a pen and paper because you're gonna want to write these down. Now let's get into how this works. Honestly, this description is going to be pretty simple because this is a very basic process. First, you're gonna buy 1 kind of protein. You can get to the point where you're doing a couple different protein sources each week, which is what we do, sometimes even 3, but I recommend starting with just 1. Then you prep that protein on the weekend. So that might be baking it, air frying it, barbecuing it, slow cooking it, or whatever method that you prefer. The easier, the better. I like to do set and forget type of cooking methods like air frying or baking or slow cooking because of the fact that I just need to prep the stuff, put it in there, and then forget about it. Usually this takes under an hour for most things. While your protein is cooking, you can also maybe cook a large batch of some kind of carbohydrate source like rice on a rice cooker or quinoa, maybe a pasta pasta that you can use throughout the week depending on the meals that you're going to be planning to make. That is not a requirement, but I highly suggest it. Then once your protein is ready, which by the way, you typically are going to cook in a very simple manner, you're going to put it in a container in the fridge, and then it suddenly becomes simple to assemble simple meals throughout the week in 5 to 10 minutes each night or each lunch, depending on what time and what meals you're actually using this for. I'm going to give you an example of this process in action using chicken breast because it's so versatile. So on the weekend, you start by baking a large batch of chicken breast. I will probably add salt, pepper, nothing too crazy. That's all you do on the weekend. Then each weeknight, you just do some easy assembly. You can shred that chicken and you can use that for, here's meal number 1, chicken tacos. You will probably need to think about all the things you will need to add to the chicken tacos, of course, like adding veggies and cheese and salsa and guacamole and throwing it on some tortillas. That process will take you less than 10 minutes. You can also make some mini barbecue chicken pizzas with maybe just 4 ingredients. You can use like maybe some whole wheat pita. There's a brand that I like to use called Joseph's for the crust, and you can top it off with like a lower sugar barbecue. G. Hughes is a great example, and then adding your toppings including the chicken. Some other options you might consider, these are going to be meals number 3, chicken quesadillas, meal number 4, chicken sandwiches, meal number 5, a chicken Caesar wrap, meal number 6, chicken pasta, meal number 7, a chicken salad. And even within all these categories, there are a ton of different options that you could make. For example, you can make a Greek salad with chicken. You can make a green salad with a bunch of different veggies, some goat cheese, walnuts, and dried cranberries. The options are honestly endless once you start thinking about all the ways that you can use a single prepped protein. And if you're stuck, I'm going to give you the biggest and most amazing hack that I like to use every single week and that I have taught also to some of our clients, which is to use ChatGPT and ask it for recipe or meal ideas for whatever source or protein source you're actually going to be using. In fact, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that and giving you the prompts that you can insert into ChatGPT to help you do that. Here's the prompt that you can use. I'm going to pull it up on my phone, and I think this is actually going to make it a little bit easier for you guys to be able to understand. We have ChatGPT pulled up in here, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to put a prompt. You have to try to be as detailed as possible. You need to talk to it like it's a person. On my meal planning for the week, I would like you to help me come up with some meal ideas. Ideally, I will need 5 to 10 meals that are simple and easy with less than 5 ingredients. I'm guessing you want something simple, right? I will meal prep a protein source on the weekend, and we will use that as a base for the rest of the meals. The protein source for this week is, and then this is where you can insert anything you're actually going to making. We're going to use chicken breast, and you can specify, I don't need recipes, just ideas. And boom, we hit it, and then it's going to give you some options. Absolutely, here are some simple, easy meal ideas using chicken breast as a base protein. A chicken Caesar salad, a chicken and broccoli stir fry, chicken tacos, chicken and veggie skewers, chicken and quinoa bowl, chicken wraps, chicken and sweet potato, chicken and avocado salad, chicken and rice, chicken and cucumber sandwich. As you can see, it's only giving you just ideas. You can also ask for recipes if you want to go crazy, but I think this, for example, for me, it's something that helps me. And this doesn't stop here. Now you can ask it to give us a grocery shopping list. Perfect. Now, can you give me a grocery list for the first 7 meals? And then here's what it's going to do. It's literally going to put together a grocery list for you. Your protein, just one thing. Your vegetables, your dairy, your grains, your condiments, and your sauces, and other things that you would need to buy. Boom, there you have it. It's super easy and simple, and you can go further and ask it to tell you what options you can prep on the weekend in under an hour besides the chicken. For example, here's another prompt that we can do. What other food items from the meal ideas can I prep in under an hour along with the chicken on the weekend to save time? And let's see what it gives us. To save time during the week, you can prep the following options. Broccoli, all the vegetables, you can prep them. You can cook a batch of quinoa. You can cook a batch of rice. You can do the hummus, the dips in the dressings, the wraps in the tortillas. It gives you sort of like the suggested weekend meal prep option that you can do. Again, you can choose whatever you feel like it's more convenient. Maybe a lot of this stuff is going to take you a little bit longer than an hour, but you can obviously pick whatever you want to do. Crazy, right? Now, I wanted to also give you 21 other ideas for 3 other protein sources depending on your preferences. Here we go. Tofu. You can use tofu curry by adding tofu, some coconut milk, curry paste, spinach, and bell peppers. A tofu banh mi, which is kind of like a sandwich. The tofu, the baguette, pickled carrots, radishes, cucumber, maybe sriracha mayo. A tofu Buddha bowl. You can do tofu and pineapple skewers. You can do a tofu pad thai with rice noodles, bean sprouts, and peanuts. You can do a tofu and mushroom stir fry. You can do a tofu breakfast burrito. The list is honestly unlimited. Now, if you were, let's say, for example, are doing something like fish, you can do a salmon poke bowl, for example. You can do also a tilapia veracruz, which is a type of meal with tomatoes, olives, and capers with tilapia. You can do salmon frittata with eggs for the morning. You can do tilapia with mango salsa. You can do salmon asparagus foil packets, which is something easy to do in in large batches. You can do maybe some tilapia fish cakes. You can do maybe a salmon and avocado toast, maybe even for dinner. And then you can also do something like ground turkey or ground beef. And here are some ideas that you can do. You can do maybe a turkey or a beef chili, a turkey or a beef stuffed bell peppers. You can do something like turkey and beef lettuce wraps, or just using actual tortilla wraps. You can do a turkey and beef shepherd's pie if you're into that. I don't like shepherd's pie, but some people actually like it. You can do maybe a turkey or beef meatball sub. That sounds delicious. You can also do a turkey or a beef tacos al pastor, which is also something that sounds great, although that needs to be with beef, not with turkey. So you get the idea. And now that you have all these meal ideas, ideally what you would want to do is you would sit down every single weekend, maybe on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and you decide what your main protein source is going to be. Or you can choose 2. And then pick a meal from the list that I just gave you for each night of the week. Once you have your meals decided, then you can make your grocery list, you can go shop and prep your protein for the week. The beauty of the system is that you always have meals that are high in protein because the protein source is all you prepped and is ready to go. This also takes under an hour, maybe 2 on the weekend, so you don't have to carve an entire afternoon out of your busy schedule to be able to do it. And then on top of that, you're never going to get bored with this method because it's not the same meal every single day. Sure, it's the same protein source, but because you're switching it up a little bit when it comes down to ingredients and the flavors, you're going to be getting a ton of variety, even though the base protein is always the same. Throughout this video so far, I've just been talking a lot about prepping dinners, or maybe lunches, since that's often the main thing that I see my clients struggling with when they come home from a long day at work and they're exhausted and tired. But if you prep a second protein source like I have been talking about, you have plenty more options for lunch too. And you can always have leftovers or whatever you made for dinner to use for lunch as well. Then when it comes on to breakfast, many people have simple options they don't mind repeating every day. For me, for example, I have overnight oats almost every day for breakfast, and I prep an entire week of breakfast in just 10 minutes. I actually made a video walking you through that process, so I'll link that in the description and you can check it out. This meal prepping approach that I just walked you through gives you a simple system that you can use every single week. It might take some getting used to initially, but eventually you'll find go-to recipes for all the different protein options that I mentioned. And you'll be spending less time than ever in the kitchen while still feeling completely organized and on track with your nutrition. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope this video helped you see how we don't really need to make meal prepping difficult for ourselves, and it doesn't need to look like the typical meal prep with a ton of separate containers in order to be effective. My goal with nutrition and weight loss is to be constantly simplifying and making things more convenient, because I know that the easiest approaches are the ones that you'll actually be able to stay consistent with and stick to. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this sharing practical nutrition tips, make sure you like this video and make sure that you also hit subscribe so you don't miss any videos from me. Also, if you really like this and you feel like this could be beneficial for other people, make sure you hit share and share it on our main social media channels. And by the way, if you have not followed us on Instagram, go to Instagram right now and tap into Andres Ayesta. It's my handle, and you can check out a lot of our shorter pieces of content there, and where I show up a little bit more consistently on stories and things like that, giving you little snippets of information. I will see you in next week's video.